How's it going, YouTube? We are back with part 2 of the recap for the NHL trade deadline. The Islanders got Braden Coburn off of the Senators in exchange for a 2022 7th rounder. Minor trade there, just adding some depth and defensive capabilities to the backside of the Islanders' defensive core. And then the Senators get a late round pick in next year's draft. Nothing too big to go on there. The Bruins get some more defensive depth as well from the Senators in exchange for a 2022 third round pick. Another defensive kind of player. He plays the defensive position. They're both on the point. They're both defensive defensemen. Senators are tearing down that defense. Their team is not good. Everybody knows they're not good. They try to get themselves a good chance at the first overall pick here. And they get some 2022 late round picks. The Canadiens get John Merrill from the Red Wings in exchange for Hayden Verbeek and a 2021 fifth round pick. John Merrill is another defensive defenseman to help that Canadiens defense keep pucks out of the net, kill penalties, stuff like that. I don't know too much about Hayden Verbeek, but I'm pretty sure he made it to the initial roster this year for Montreal at some point. I don't know if he stayed up. I don't know what the deal was there, but 2021 fifth and a prospect does not look too bad in exchange for John Merrill. Who has been pretty good at keeping the puck out of the net. And apparently the Columbus Blue Jackets loved three-team deals because they made a second one. The Maple Leafs got Nick Foligno from Columbus and Stefan Noesen from San Jose in exchange for a 2021 first-round pick and a 2022 fourth to Columbus and a 2021 fourth-round pick to San Jose. Nick Foligno is kind of like a power forward kind of guy, tight checking, decent on defense, penalty killer. He's got an ugly contract though, so I'm pretty sure he's probably on the last year of his deal because the Maple Leafs don't really have money to be taking on that kind of money. And Stefan Noesen is a nice two-way forward that play in the bottom six. Like I said in the previous recap, the better your bottom six is at keeping the puck out of the net, the more likely you are to have a deep run in the playoffs. Because those guys are always the ones that chip in a big goal. So in exchange, the Blue Jackets look like they're tearing it down. I believe they got a first round pick in the last video as well, and after they lost Panarin, it kind of just all started to go downhill for them. Bobrovsky left, and now they're kind of without their captain, and they're all over the place. They need a full on teardown. The Penguins got Jeff Carter from the Kings in exchange for a conditional third and a conditional fourth in 2022. As a Kings fan, it sucks to see Carter go, but that's a contract that we needed to get off of the books. The Kings did retain half of the money, I believe, so I think he becomes a $3 million player for the Penguins, and the Kings still pay the other three. The conditions are if he plays if they play a certain amount of playoff games, that third becomes a second, and if he plays 50 games in 2022, that fourth becomes a third. So it's a nice pickup for Jeff Carter. The Penguins get a nice third line center who can put the puck into the net. He's looked really, really healthy this year, really fast compared to last year. He's looked really good, but the pucks haven't been going in the net, so maybe he'll get some better opportunities in Pittsburgh. This one is crazy. This is a blockbuster deal. The Bruins get their hands on Taylor Hall and Curtis Lazar, and the Sabres get Anders Bjork and 2021 second round pick. What is Buffalo doing? In my opinion, they got fleeced for Taylor Hall. 100% they have fleeced for Taylor Hall. They only get a 2021 second out of it. And I know Anders Bjork is a nice potential top six two-way forward on the wing. But Taylor Hall is a MVP, like a former MVP. Not too long ago was he the MVP. Lazar is there as a depth guy. He had a lot of potential back in Ottawa, but he has never really reached that ceiling. He could play the bottom six maybe, and if not, he'll be a depth piece that kills penalties. But Taylor Hall for Anders Bjork and a second. Buffalo fans, how do you guys feel about that? Because I feel like, there isn't much to celebrate there. I know Taylor Hall hasn't been playing as good, but neither has the entire Buffalo team. So you're going to lower his stock based on the surroundings around him, because he did pretty well in New Jersey, He was pretty good in Edmonton. Arizona, you know, same kind of situation as Buffalo. The Blackhawks get Adam Gaudette in exchange for Matthew Highmore. Swap of depth, it looked like. I think Highmore might be a prospect. Gaudette's like a center grinder, tight checking. He's going to get on the forecheck. He's going to be an energy guy. You pair him up with other energy guys, and they can create some havoc down there in the fourth line. I like that pickup for the Blackhawks. They get some grit down there. Having a gritty fourth line, third line is never a bad thing for a team that's trying to make the playoffs. The Oilers get Dmitry Kulikov in exchange for a conditional fourth-round pick. I believe if they win a playoff round, that fourth becomes a third. Dmitry Kulikov is going to be the the top six defensive pairings. He'll be on the third pairing, defensive defenseman. If he's not depth, I don't know how their depth chart looks for defensemen over there in Edmonton. It'd be nice to see McDavid get a win in the playoffs. To win a round, I'd like to see McDavid ball out in the playoffs, but he can only do so much. So the team looks good for them this year. They get a nice little piece to either be the sixth defenseman or the seventh defenseman off the bench, and maybe they can make a little run this season. The Kings extend Alex Iafallo to a 4-year, $16 million deal, and as a Kings fan, I love this because of the fact that there was a lot of murmurs about him being traded, considering that he's a UFA. He was supposed to be a UFA after the season, so I was a little worried that they'd trade him. They keep him around. Kopitar loves to play with him. He's gritty. He hustles every time he's on the ice. He makes plays happen. Nice two-way forward, kills penalties with Kopitar. Those two together really, really make a big difference. And then Brown on the other side of the wing, scoring all the goals over there this season for them. He's a nice power play guy as well. Penalty kill, he plays in all situations. Not going to log as much ice time as Kopitar, but Kopitar is also one of the better two-way forwards that we've seen in a while. So if Kopitar likes to play with you, you're a pretty good player, and Kopitar wanted to keep him around, and the Kings follow through. The Avalanche gets Carl Soderberg in exchange for Josh Dickinson and Ryder Rolston. Soderberg is back with the Avalanche. He was with the Avalanche not too long ago. They traded him to Dallas, I believe, a couple of years ago. He's back. Power forward, center power forward. Power play time probably won't get too much considering how strong that Avalanche forward core is. Penalty kills, maybe he'll log some time on the penalty kill. Probably be a third line center, maybe a fourth line center. That team's getting deeper and deeper and getting scarier and scarier, and it really is an amazing thing to see for them. I hope they win it. I really do. The Flyers extend Scott Laughton to a 5-year, $15 million deal. They signed this guy long term. Another guy that was going to be a UFA after the season. Rumors about him being traded. They decided to lock him up, the same as the Kings did for the long term. He gets a cheaper deal than Iafallo gets, averaging $3 million per season. I believe he's another kind of two-way forward kind of guy, but I believe he's a center. So they lock in up their top 9 maybe. We'll see what they decide to do with him from there. And then Panthers get their hands on Sam Bennett and a 2022 6th rounder in exchange for Emil Heineman and a 2022 2nd rounder. It looks like Calgary is giving up on Sam Bennett. I believe he was a former top 5 pick, maybe he was top 6, but he was supposed to have so much potential and he never really lived up to it. A little chippier than we would have probably expected from him when he got drafted. Now he's decided that he needs to be more of a role guy. He doesn't have that goal scoring ability that they expected him to have at the NHL level. But they moved on. They grab Emil Heineman, who's a prospect since the Flames are not doing too good this season. They get a second out of it as well. And the Panthers get some depth. And that's going to do it for this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe. There's likely to be a part 3, considering that there's been a couple of blockbuster trades that have happened while I've been recording these. I'll see you then. See you next time.